Hey, welcome back and welcome once again to the Farm Science Review. It's been a couple of weeks now since we announced that we're actually replacing this building, and the amount of questions that we've got from you with regards to door locations and door sizes and eave heights and will my RV fit, we thought it'd be a great idea here in the last couple of days before crews come here and start dismantling it to go inside and take a real close look at this building. And it'll be a little different for a lot of you to see it because you're often used to seeing that when it's already show ready and the landscaping is done and the signage is up and the building is show ready. Well, this is what it looks like before it gets its makeup on. Every year we do power wash the building inside and outside in the weeks prior to the review. And we also have landscapers come in and get the beds ready so it's show ready. Well, today it's not that way, and we're going to go in, we're going to take a deeper dive, we're going to look at details of this building so you can see firsthand what it looks like. So come on, let's go take a look. So many of you might remember the EF1 tornado that came literally through the showgrounds just a couple of years ago and damaged several grain bins and destroyed several buildings. Right here is some evidence of what that tornado did. We had just recently put in these new permanent signs, and the wind damage from that tornado can be seen here with our sign, how it's knocked it off its axis. So many of you may remember that several buildings were destroyed here on the showgrounds, and one of them was as close as 100 yards from this building. And while the K building itself didn't sustain any structural damage, there was contact made with some of the flying debris into the covering here on the side of the building itself. And you can see scratches to the covering up here, dents throughout the covering here, even a tear to the covering at this point. We've got damage down at the wainscot and some holes poked in there, as well as damage to some of the corner trim. That, along with some damage to the roof of the cupola itself, is what this building sustained from that EF1 tornado. While we are selling this building as is, we're not going to be replacing any covering. We wanted you guys to see it firsthand so you know exactly what you're bidding on. So we're inside the 10-foot by 45-foot porch. It's an open-sided porch. All the columns are trimmed. There's a flat ceiling that is covered on the inside of this porch. And it's just amazing when I look through here at how wild this place gets in those months between the Farm Science Review shows. Landscapers really have to work overtime to get this place dialed in and show ready. But boy, I can imagine this porch sitting out on some summer evenings under this porch. It's a wonderful space, and it's a good size space for a variety of things. Maybe you're going to park some equipment underneath here, or maybe you're just going to put some Adirondack chairs and sit back and enjoy the sunsets. That's going to be up to you, but it is a good size porch. Elgin Service Center has been exhibiting the K building at the Farm Science Review for quite a few years, and this building is actually the third exhibit space that we've used. It was built in 2003, and the covering was replaced in 2014 for two reasons. There was a change in the condensation control technology in 2014 where roll formers introduced a felt-like membrane to the bottom of the roof sheet, and this allowed the moisture in the building to be spread out over a larger area of that felt, and evaporation would then dry it out, and it prevented that moisture from coming to a point and dripping. And what it changed was the use of ply white or even Reflectex, which was the roof sheets that were applied in the building. And it was just a remarkable change, and it has changed the condensation control. The amount of Reflectex that we use today is but a fraction of what it used to be. The second reason we changed it was we wanted a new color on the building. This green and white we introduced and still looks fantastic today. We're standing on the side of the building with our 14 by 14 double sliding doors, and quite honestly, it still looks great. So we're standing inside of the K building right now, and usually this time of year, the Farm Science Review has this building packed with stuff they're just storing here in the off season, but we've been fortunate enough this year that they didn't store anything in here, and it's going to give you an opportunity to see this building before the building gets power washed on the inside and outside, or landscapers arrive to start putting the makeup on the building. Now, just to be clear, this building will not be power washed. In fact, crews are going to be here in just a day or two to begin the dismantling process and bundling this building into a point where that's the way you're going to see it displayed during this year's Farm Science Review. Now we're standing in front of a 12-foot wide, 10-foot tall hydraulic door. The first door that we had in here was an overhead door, but some years ago, Elgin Service Center partnered with Power Lift Hydraulic Doors, and we created Power Lift Great Lakes. That's our hydraulic door division of Elgin Service Center. And it was at that point then we changed that door to this hydraulic, and everything is included in the auction. The hydraulic door, the cylinders, the pump, and everything will be a part of the auction. So from the very beginning, this whole building's purpose was to showcase different K-building elements. And this part of the building is a prime example of that. This little alcove in the building is the only area where we have interior liner, and we showcase how it does attach directly to the wood secondary. This is the only part of the building that is lined, and even our partition wall is a shortened partition wall. It's about 13 feet from the sidewall, but it does showcase how a partition wall is done. So there is going to be one change to the building from what you see here today, and it's to this loft header. Currently, this loft header clear spans the entire 40-foot width of the building, and we are going to rework this header and put a 6-inch I-beam column right here and remove the rest of the header for the rest of the width of the building. And this I-beam column then will identify that loft space, which will measure 13 foot wide and 15 foot deep. And by doing that, then you're going to be able to have the full headroom of the vaulted ceiling in this cave building from the hydraulic door end wall right on through the double sliding doors. So we're standing in front of our 10-foot wide, 8-foot tall, uninsulated overhead door that leads out to the 45-foot long covered porch. And somebody was asking in their questions what our door heights are because they had an RV that they wanted to park in here. Now we've got 3 different door heights in this building. We've got a 13-foot tall double sliding door to one end wall. We've got a 10-foot tall hydraulic door at the other end wall. And we've got an 8-foot tall overhead door here in the side wall. Now, this building was put on a pier foundation at grade. It sits on a 24-inch diameter pier at grade. But keep in mind, your foundation has as much to do with the door opening heights and clearance as the openings themselves. Simply by raising your foundation a foot above grade or 2 foot above grade or more would have a dramatic impact in your overall clearance height of these door openings. So we're standing inside the double sliding doors. These were 14 wide, 13 tall, and some of the earlier pictures showed the propel sliding door openers as part of this. Now those openers have been removed and they will not be a part of the auction. This will be a manually operated double sliding door. Well, we thank you for being with us today as we take a real close look at the K building. If there's some questions you have that we weren't able to cover, please leave them in the comments below. And while you're there, like the video and subscribe so we can send you more content. We appreciate you being here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you at the Farm Science Review. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.